Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, there we have it. The contrast could not have been more apparent tonight after the careful, deliberate, measured introductory speech from the Minister. We had the first version of the campaign speech for the Auckland mayoralty by the member for Roskill, who has suddenly rediscovered his Auckland roots and is in full-blown Auckland campaign mode. He's ditched the Labour Party red tie. He's got his new campaign tie on. It's that sort of bluish-greenish tinge, and there he is practising the speech for the 22nd this coming Sunday, and he's going to be into it. And there he was, about to desert the Labour Party ship, about to leave all that he's been practising for 30 years in this House, and all for this speech tonight on this new bill that is being introduced, as I say, after the careful, deliberate and measured contribution from the Minister, who did such a good job in setting out why it is that this House is considering this bill at this time on this night, because it's an important piece of technical legislation that needs to be passed before Christmas. It needs to be put in place so that, as the member for Roskill so rightly said, Auckland can continue to succeed. Because, Mr. Speaker, even in the provinces, even in the beautiful Coromandel electorate, it's important that Auckland succeeds, because when Auckland succeeds, the rest of the country succeeds, and so too do the provinces. And, sir, that's why I'm very pleased to be able to stand in this first reading debate and support the introduction of this bill. Effectively, when the Principal Act was introduced in 2010, the hearings panel was established, and they were established to hear submissions on the proposed Auckland Unitary Plan. Now, this plan is a very big piece of work. It's a huge undertaking, Mr. Speaker. And the submissions that have been received on the plan have been many and varied, and it's important that they get due hearing and they get well considered by the hearings panel. So this piece of legislation proposes to amend the Principal Act to essentially do three things. First of all, it will reduce the quorum required for the hearing sessions from 3 members to 2 members. And I want to spend a minute or two just going over some of these points a little later in my contribution. But the second point that this bill does is it increases the maximum number of members of the hearings panel from 7 to 10. And then the third part of this bill is to enable the hearings panel to make its recommendations in stages after hearings are completed on a particular topic, rather than having to wait for the complete submission process to have taken place. So what will reducing the quorum of the hearing sessions do? Well, it will reduce the number of members required to be a quorum from 3 to 2, and currently the 3 panel members have to present at every hearing session. And so reducing this, sir, will mean that a flexibility can be applied that will enable up to 4 concurrent hearings to take place at the same time. And that will speed the process up, it'll speed it up and improve the efficiency. And although 3 members could well be present for some of the more complex and controversial hearing topics, the panel can be relied upon to exercise its discretion, and I have faith and I'm confident that they will be able to exercise that discretion easily and well, and without fear of concern about that process. The second major point is that the increase on the size of the panel increases the membership from 7 to 10, and this will help ensure that that process of concurrent hearings can occur in a seamless and timely way. The third major change enables the panel to make its recommendations in stages, and that hasn't been the case until now. So this is a good little technical adjustment that will help this unitary plan hearings process. It'll help Auckland succeed. And I want to be the first in this House to wish the member for Roskill well in his campaigning intentions. I'm pleased that he's delivered the opening campaign address tonight here in this chamber. The few of us that are here have been privileged to hear that speech, and no doubt we will hear it again on Sunday afternoon. I commend this bill to the House.